Morning, everybody. Rolling down the road, stuck in traffic a little later than usual, but maybe I should call these the traffic talks. I don't know. Anyhow, last night I spent some time with my daughter, and I realized something. I heard today in Mark chapter 9, Yeshua is talking to he's talking to a group of people, and he tells them that it's better for a person to have a millstone tied around their neck than to cause one of the little ones that believe in him to sin. He's giving a pretty strong warning that we are to make sure that we are to help his little ones stay out of sin. We are supposed to make sure that little ones that believe in him don't fall into the lies of the enemy. And sometimes we focus a lot on other people, or sometimes we may focus a lot on, in ministry we like to focus on those people we think have the most need. Sometimes we fail to focus on those closest to us. I spent some time sitting with my daughter last night, and I heard her heart, and I got to listen to her tell me about what she's going through. And it's funny because you see things from a certain perspective as a parent, and then you sit with your child and you hear a totally different perspective. And it's such an awesome thing to sit down with your child and just listen to what they have to say. But I think that's the big thing, is us as parents, we have to start learning our first ministry is at home. Our first ministry is our children and our wife and our husbands. For wives, your husband is your ministry as well. But if we don't know each other, then we can't really minister to each other. And so we need to take the time to listen to our children and try to guide them and direct them, as well as just let them be them and hear who they are. It's kind of interesting. I was listening to my daughter last night, and there are some things that have happened recently that she had an issue, and she was hurt by the fact that she had stepped into a situation where she had found herself in sin, and it seemed like the world turned against her, she felt like, when she said that to me last night. And I was able to explain exactly what that feels like from my perspective too, that I've been there, that I've stepped into some murky water before when I was younger and made some mistakes, and sometimes you lose trust, sometimes you but that was the interesting thing, was that I got to sit with my daughter and I got to guide her in what it means to be a Christian. It's not easy, it's not simple, and as we figure these things out and as we learn these things, we have to remember that different people are at different levels of learning these things, and we need to try to encourage that, especially with our children, especially with our families. So I just want to praise God for my daughter. I want to praise God for such a beautiful soul that cares so much for others and really takes things to heart, and really wants the best for people, even if they don't particularly feel like they want the best for her. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that I see a lot of her mother in her, and that's a blessing to me, that the way she looks at things, that she doesn't get angry or frustrated or mad as much as she is, she loves the person. That's a beautiful thing. I think the more we spend time with our kids and our wives, and we get into the Word, we start to see that that's what Christ really wants us to do, that we are supposed to be raising up the kingdom, and by doing so, obviously raising it up in our family, raising it up in our workplace. And it's all about loving each other. It's all about taking care of each other. And another thing I read was, Jesus was telling the disciples, and they came to him, hey, there's somebody else that's healing in your name. And Jesus says, he who is for you is not against you. If we approach this thing, this Christianity thing, with love, instead instead of anger and frustration and selfishness and allowing ourselves to be emotional, it's amazing the difference that we can make in building the kingdom. It's what God gave me today, guys. Love y'all. God bless.